we are learning once again, we are being reminded once again why you're the greatest of all time. Because not only did you win a belt at 170, you won it at 185, and you beat the guys. You beat the 185 champ. You didn't beat the interim champ. You didn't fight for a vacant title. You beat the guy who was the champ. You never embarrassed yourself. You never embarrassed the sport. You never got suspended, steroids, PEDs. And now what we're seeing with Jon Jones, I have to be honest with you, is reminding me why, and the world, why you're the greatest of all time. You deserve that. You deserve that. And I know you don't agree with me, and I know you're not going to like this.
No, but, thank you. I mean, it's a very subjective thing, you know, like there's other guys that deserve to be there. Demetrius Johnson.
Yes, Mighty Mouse.
For me, my goat was Royce Gracie, because I believe he did certain things that will never be done ever again. So it's very subjective.
Can I ask, what do you make of this whole situation with Jon? He's the champion, and it seems like, look, when you beat Michael Bisping, 2 weeks later you said, I'm done. This is not happening.
Well, it depends why he does it for. If it's for a negotiation tactics with the UFC, that's, you know, you have to, it's a chess game. But if you do it just because you want to hold back everything and it's an ego thing, this is not okay. You know, like I feel like if it's a way for him to get more money, it's okay, but it's a tactic, you know, negotiation tactics. But if it's just because he want to hold it as much as he wants and he knows he's not gonna go back, this is not fair, because other fighters are waiting, and as an athlete you have a window. If you're past that window, you can never go back.
Right. And no, I don't know about that, but here's the thing, George. The thing to me is, as you know, you always have to fight the top guy. The whole thing has to go. If Matt Hughes would have said to you, no, I don't want to fight you, how do you then realize your dream, right? If Shogun Rua would have said, no, I don't want to fight Jon Jones in 2011, how could he have realized his dream? And so when I hear him say, oh, Tom doesn't excite me, or Tom hasn't done anything, well, how do you know unless you give him the opportunity to do something? That's how it works, right? You can't hold the belt hostage.
So I think who's accountable right now in this situation, it's maybe the UFC.
Yeah.
The UFC has to change their policy, and I believe they have to keep the ball rolling. If the ball is not rolling, it delays everything, and it can be a very negative things and for the young contenders that are waiting to get a shot for the title.
Right. Can I ask, based on what you know of both of them, Aspinall Jones, who do you think actually wins if they fought?
It's a tough match to call. It's very hard to bet against Jon Jones because he's basically almost like a perfect fighter, but is Tom Aspinall has what he needs to crack the code? That's the big question. Tom Aspinall is certainly a type of fighter that he's different than everyone else. He moves. He reminds me a little bit of Fedor Emelianenko, except that he's heavier than Fedor,
yeah.
And it seems that to me that he's more refined than Fedor. Is the updated version of what Fedor Emelianenko was. It's a tough fight to call. I mean, now as time goes by, for sure Jon's athletic ability will start to diminish. It's normal. You know, he maybe past his prime. And Tom is in his prime right now. It's a tough, in terms of accomplishment, Jon Jones, the best ever, I believe. But if you talk about now, it could go either way. It could go either way.
You know, I've said
I don't know what it would be the odds. I don't know who would be the odds, but it would be interesting to see. And he's good everywhere. You know, like he's good everywhere, and he's very athletic. Like he can match Jon Jones' athleticism. Jon, on the other hand, has so many tools. Like he comes out with certain things that we haven't. Maybe he could come out with something we haven't seen from him yet. It's very, very tough to call. I mean, I would not like to bet on this fight
right.
because it could go either way.
By the way, I've never asked you this question. You retired in 2017. That's when you walked away after the Bisping fight. I had heard that they wanted to make like a 4-man tournament the following year with you, Khabib, Nate Diaz, and there was one other person that my memory is escaping me right now. Do you remember anything of this? Do you remember this coming towards you?
I remember that we're trying to make the fight against Khabib, and the UFC didn't want to do it in the beginning. Then I retired after.
Was this right after the Bisping fight?
So yeah, after the Bisping fight, we wanted to make the fight. I think it's after. It might be after. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember we wanted to make the Khabib fight, and the UFC did not want to do it because they wanted to keep the ball rolling with Khabib instead of doing one big fight, taking the risk of, after the champion lose.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to keep the ball rolling. But then after Khabib retired, Dana called me and asked me if I was interested in fighting Khabib. And
wow.
I asked, and I found it was strange because I didn't really believe it, because I asked him, if Khabib really wanted this fight, and he said yes. So I said, let me think about it. Then I called Ali Abdelaziz, and Ali says that wasn't true.
Oh.
And then I knew it wasn't true. But then after, Dana came back and says, when I try to promote a fight, I don't do three people calls at the same time, which is true, you know.
Wow.
But that's really what happened.
What weight would it have been at? 55 or 70?
I think it would have been maybe catch weight or
catch weight.
We didn't really discuss the term. It was just, hey, are you interested? The first time it was on my side. We asked the UFC if they were willing to make the fight. They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So then a few months after, then Khabib retired. A few months after, Dana tried to make, because he knew we were both retired.
At the end, yes.
He tried to make it.
If he was into it, if Khabib was into it, would you have done it?
Yeah, I would not have.
Wow.
I would not have choice.